Joseph Pizza, welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Shisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
I divorced my husband, woman says, because men benefit more from marriage than women. But do they? Let's find out.
Most men benefit from marriage.
I remember when I reached a point in my marriage, I am now divorced, where I was like, wow, my husband benefits so much from having me in his life. Like, literally, I handled the finances. Whenever we traveled, I did all of the travel arrangements. I did all of the planning. I did all of the grocery shopping. I didn't really do the cooking, but I did pretty much all of the cleaning. And I did any type of like social organization, or, you know, if one of the people in our family like had a birthday, like I would shop for it. If we were going to a holiday at, you know, his family's house, I would make sure that we were bringing something. Like, I did everything for this man. And there came a point in my marriage where I was like, wow, this man benefits so much from marriage, but what do I benefit from? And when I stepped back and I really looked at that, I was like, I am not benefiting very much from this marriage.
That's when she decided to get the divorce. Let's keep listening.
And so I started to ask him for more. And that's when I realized how replaceable women are, because instead of him wanting to do the work and actually like work to help the marriage move forward and for us to both be equal partners, there was a lot of resistance where he was like I think I could feel, and this is my projection, that he was like, why don't I just go, you know, like find someone? Or I think because he was so religious, for him it wasn't, why don't I go find someone? It was like, wow, I should have picked someone who was just like asked less of me.
So she said there's something really important that we can't skip over. So she came from a religious background, it sounds like, and he probably realized he effed up. Guys, the number one most important thing you need if you're somebody who still values marriage today and you want marriage to work with a woman, you want to make sure your values align. Now, of course, there's no fail-proof plan here, but there's definitely things that will help make sure your marriage ends in a disaster. And that's someone who does not share the same values as you do in the context of marriage. Notice how she said equal partnership and then also talked about being with a religious man. If she's also Christian, then she shouldn't be talking about an equal partnership, right? There's a lack of understanding there of what that dynamic would look like. And he probably realized he effed up in not delving deep into what it actually means to be in a religious inspired, because that's what he valued, right? It could be anything. If you value a partnership as a woman, look for the guy who values a partnership. Don't get in a relationship or yet alone marriage with a guy who's religious, because he's going to expect you to do housework. And then you're going to see that as a problem, like she's doing here in this video. So yes, he probably looked and said, damn, what the hell have I gotten myself into? This woman is complaining about what I thought was an understanding. Let's keep listening.
And eventually he did step up a bit and really helped with other things. But again, it was him helping me. It wasn't him doing it. It was always me being like, you know, here's what needs to be done. Can you please do it? And he'll be like, tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. And, you know, he would, to his credit, do it. But that was still the emotional labor that I had to do of telling him. So
she didn't, again, pay attention to what she's saying. She's telling you he actually changed. He actually improved. He did what he could to improve, and he actually started doing. But the problem wasn't that he wasn't doing what she wanted him to do. The problem was that she still had to tell him what to do. But here's the problem with that. You want a partnership. You want an equal partnership. If you want an equal partnership, then you should be okay with regulating, because in that instance, there is no leader. There's no man who's supposed to be delegating tasks. Maybe you were better at figuring out what needed to be done, and he was better at taking instructions. In the context of what she wanted, which is a partnership, she shouldn't be complaining. You guys get what I mean? Let me make it more clear. You guys get what I mean? Let me explain it this way. If this was a man who said, okay, so I had a problem with my wife, she wouldn't do A, B, C, and D. And then I started telling her, you need to do A, B, C, and D. And she started doing it. A man wouldn't be complaining and saying, I shouldn't have to tell you to do A, B, C, and D. You should just do it. Or at least you shouldn't. He would understand that, like, hey, I'm the leader here, and part of my responsibility of being the leader is delegating tasks. She doesn't want to delegate tasks. She wants a man who's going to know what to do. And there seems to be a whole lot of confusion here with lack of common values, what a relationship looks like, marriage in specific, and also her not accepting the fact that in an equal partnership, which there's really no such thing, but the closest you're going to get is deciding like, hey, I want to take on responsibility that I am most competent with. And that might be delegation if she wants that type of equal partnership. It's never 50-50.
What needed to be done. And then I remember after we were getting divorced and I was thinking like, wow, I'm so replaceable because he didn't really care about me as a person, but the role that I filled was what the men cared about. And I watched couples around us get divorced and I watched the man move on before like one man, he moved on before his wife had even moved out of their home. And I was like, yeah, it's because men don't really see women as human. They see us as like, what are you benefiting us? And as soon as you stop benefiting us, well, we'll just go find someone who will offer us everything that we need and who won't complain. So it wasn't about seeing us for our humanity and like loving me and us as the people. It was like, yeah, women are a renewable resource because we're a man. We'll just go get another one. And I remember just feeling so heartbroken because I had loved this man since I was 21 years old. I was so in love with my husband. Like I would have done anything. I did do anything for him.
No, you didn't. You'd have still been married to him.
But for him to look at me and not feel that same way, that was such a hard lesson to learn because I was, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, thinking about men crazy. But it was just such a painful lesson to learn because for me, it was my entire world. He was my entire world and I loved him and I adored him and I talked, about him to the people that I loved. And for him, it was just kind of like, you're filling this role that I needed in my life in order to like be, a whole human being and a man. And that's a really hard place to be.
That's crazy. What's crazy is if she's talking about men don't love women for who they are, but rather what they provide. But we know that's exactly how women mate, right? Her love for you will always be based on your burden of performance. Anyways, let's check out these comments, see what the people have to say. So first comment here comes from a woman. She says, I really appreciate all the women on this app who openly talk about the reality of marriage and having children. It's helping so many young women. Is it helping so many young women? Here's another comment that says, my ex was on Tinder before the papers were signed. They cannot be alone. Somebody else here says, whenever I lived with a man, it ruined my life and health. Or good thing you were by yourself. Another comment here says, best marriages are the ones when men loves more than the woman. Nope. Somebody else here, another woman says, I called off my wedding at 23 because I realized he expected me to give up everything while nothing about his life changed. But everything did for me. The importance of having these conversations before you enter a marriage cannot be stressed enough. Here's another comment that says, I didn't benefit at all in comparison to him. This woman says, my life is so much easier without him. Somebody else here added, when I asked my now ex to ask me about my day after constantly downloading about his, and he said, oh, should I find other women to talk to? Somebody else here says, well, ratio of men to women 10-1. Go figure, all women are replaceable. Somebody else here, a gentleman says, congratulations, you played yourself. Are those things not happening without you? Bye, girl. A divorce is usually a relief to a man, this gentleman says. Here's another man who says, not hating, but adding my opinion. So he didn't take care of the lawn, fix things around the house. Yeah, she didn't mention none of that stuff. Here's another comment from another man that says, you never loved him. You loved his potential. That's why you never appreciated him. You were leading him. He didn't know how to lead. Wow, this is effed up writing here. I'm not even gonna stress myself with that. Another comment here says, marriage is indeed dying off. That's true. Here's another comment from another woman that says, I can guarantee all wives have felt this way at some point. Yeah, again, values have to align. Serious conversations need to be had before you consider marriage, especially in today's day and age. Listen, as always, guys, what do you think of what she said? Leave your comments down below. Appreciate you all for checking out yet another episode of Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.